Live from the Quad Cities with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel. This is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, a natural insect repellent that's safe for everyone in the family. We'll learn more about Bug Soother, a company that started in the QCA.
Iconic American jazz drummer Louie Bellson would be celebrating his 100th birthday this weekend. How a local jazz musician is finding a unique way to honor Belson's legacy.
And later, the world's largest truck stop is celebrating 60 years of service to travelers and professional drivers. We're going to take a closer look at the events planned to mark this milestone. It is Tuesday, July 2nd, and you're watching Quad Cities Live. I'm Morgan Otier alongside my co-host, Kyle Keel. Thank you so much for joining us. A quick belated happy birthday as well to Kyle
thank you.
Keel.
Yes. Had a great day yesterday.
Good. We are glad. Well, we're also glad it is officially summer, which means many of us are tending to our plants, our flowers, and our vegetable gardens.
But if you are having a hard time maintaining your plants, Kennedy Blasius from the Quad City Botanical Center is here to help us out. Kennedy, thanks so much for joining us today.
Absolutely thrilled to be here. Always a great opportunity to get to talk about the Botanical Center and help people with some gardening tips and how they can take care of things at home.
Yeah, so pretty much we're now past the part where we've got our plants in, so now comes the task of maintaining it, and there are right and wrong ways to do that.
There are for sure. So like you said, it's not the ideal time to be putting things in the ground just because this is kind of the stress period. So you want to work on maintaining. A lot of people think that if a plant looks like it's kind of suffering a little bit, that you should fertilize.
Right.
This is the time that you should not fertilize. Fertilizing is best in spring and fall.
Okay.
Primarily because that's the active growing period for just about every plant in this area. Essentially, any woody plants, any perennials are in a very mild state of dormancy right now. So if you were to apply any sort of fertilizer, it can actually burn the plant. So you want to avoid that. The next thing that you should definitely consider, if you haven't already done so, is mulching.
Yes.
So even at this time of the year, a lot of the time people have already laid mulch, but if you haven't, it's still a great thing to do. Mulch
Guilty.
Yeah.
So things get away from you. So
I have it. It's in the driveway. It's ready to go. Okay.
And it's still perfectly, it's still good for your plants to get that laid now. It helps with weed suppression, but more importantly, in the hot, dry days of summer, it helps with moisture retention.
Okay.
And that's also an important point because we want to make sure that we're keeping up with watering our plants. They take probably a little more than what we might think.
They do, absolutely. So you have to worry about, getting things mulched, making sure that you can help take care of the plants by doing things like deadheading as well, along with watering.
Talk about what deadheading is before we get to...
Absolutely. So deadheading is essentially just the removal of spent blooms off of your plants.
Okay.
So the way that you want to deadhead, on every plant there is what is called a node, and that is the growing point of the plant. You can usually see a node by a small bump in the stem, or a lot of the time a node is where a leaf comes out.
Okay.
So to prune that, to prune off that spent bloom, you want to cut just above that point, and that allows the plant to allocate its energy into other things rather than making seed pods. So if you left that bloom on, it'd make seed pods. You wouldn't be able to have your plant either produce new blooms or save that energy for its rootstock, the bulb, whatever the case may be, to help support the plant throughout the year.
This is true for vegetable plants as well?
So generally the vegetable plants, they're going to turn into fruit and you want them to.
Okay, and then after you pick that or harvest that, whatever term you use,
then the bloom is gone because the bloom develops into that fruiting structure. So if you want to, when that bloom is gone, when that fruit is picked, you can cut that whole stem off, and then that plant can then put energy into the rest of the plant, but it is not as necessary because you want the fruit to, you want the plant to fruit out. You don't necessarily want to worry about deadheading in that situation.
Okay, good.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we kind of hinted at the watering. There are some easy ways to make sure that your plants are getting enough water. Have a rain gauge in your garden. My grandma has one right there.
Yep. So this is just a very basic rain gauge. You can find it at any hardware store. Place it somewhere in your property that is unobstructed so it can collect the water evenly. It'll give you a good idea of how much water is actually falling on your property. Because you do want to try to ensure that your plants are getting about 1 inch of water a week.
I was going to ask.
Yes. So if it's hot and dry, they might need a little more than that, but that is kind of the standard go-to is about 1 inch a week. So if you're seeing your rain gauge not fill up to 1 inch, you want to supplementally water.
Okay.
If you start noticing that your plants might be looking a little wilty like this one is, so this is a happy version of it.
Plenty of times.
This is a wilted version.
I have a little of both.
Yep, so this one got a little too dry. It started to wilt. Generally, you can get it back from this stage by continuing to supplementally water. Eventually, if the leaves are still looking a little droopy, you can prune those off just to help the plant along. But in general, it is best to water deeply and as infrequently as possible. This is just because it makes the roots of the plant grow deeper, so that plant can then reach water that cannot be easily evaporated, and then it can just sustain itself a little better during those drought periods.
So I have a question that maybe you can answer it that goes along with that. So if you're someone who has like garden beds, for example, is that going to mean that maybe those plants do need a little bit more water because the roots aren't going to be able to go as deep?
It depends on a little bit with what your soil is. Okay. If you have nice soil that is not, there's not a lot of rock in it or things like that, generally if you have perennials that are coming back year after year, they will have deep roots. Okay. If you're putting in annuals that you have to plant every single year, or you're planting in like above ground pots, that is those situations they can't, they don't have nearly as much space to grow their roots, and also if they're annuals, they don't have as much time to grow their roots. Okay. So those do tend to wilt more quickly. During the heat of the summer and really hot days, when we're reaching 100-degree heat index, a lot of the time those will need to be watered, even a little drink almost every day, just to prevent wilting.
Can you tell I'm asking for personal reasons?
I knew exactly what you were doing. I knew exactly what you were doing. So with the watering, a lot of people will be like, oh, hey, it's going to rain today. I don't need to water my plants. But that might not necessarily be true. So if we're planning on watering our plants, there's probably better times during the day than others to do that. So what do you recommend for everyone?
In general, for plant health, the best time to water is early in the day, as early as you can. Okay. This is just so that the plants can uptake that water and be ready to, support themselves as the heat of the day comes on. Okay. If you have to, you can water, evening at night. The only reason why that's not suggested is because that moisture that does not have any evaporation from the sun or the heat at that time can cause fungal growth overnight.
That is so interesting.
It's not as prevalent in the middle of the summer because it's hot enough still, but it can still happen, which is why the morning watering is more suggested.
And I don't know if we put up that graphic yet that you guys provided for us that shows like where to water.
The space to water, absolutely.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah, so the best way to water is kind of with like a gentle shower stream. You won't want to get pelted with water, neither does a plant. Okay. So just a nice gentle shower stream towards the base of the plant. And the roots grow out past where you see that plant above ground. Right. So my recommendation is to essentially water the radius width around the entire plant. Okay. So if you have a perennial that is 1 foot wide, you want to water a 6-inch circle around the whole thing as well, just to make sure that that full root area is getting fully drenched and the water can, be used as much as necessary by that plant as well.
This is all good info.
Yeah, very good info. Yeah. And I mean, you got a lot of stuff going on this summer at the Botanical Center as well.
Yep, so we've just recently had our storybook garden open. That's in our children's garden. It's our new exhibit. People are thrilled about it.
They love it.
Lots of fun things to do out there. So many beautiful things in bloom as well. That's always fun to come and see. And then, of course, we do have our mini Mississippi River and our splash pad, which is a huge attraction. Kids love it. Families love it.
And we've had the weather for it recently.
We have.
You know what? Yesterday maybe aside.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of a break in temperature the last few days,
which is fine. We'll all be back out there soon.
We will.
This is a popular spot.
Lots of summer to go, that's for sure. So if you want to check out what's in bloom at the Quad City Botanical Center or visit the popular children's garden we were just talking about, the hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the Botanical Center is open Sunday from 11 to 5, and you can get all that information at qcgardens.com. Kennedy, thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, a company created out of necessity right here in the QCA is finding even more success at its new manufacturing location in Cedar Rapids. Learn about the benefits of Bug Soother next.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Well, it's summertime and we want to be outdoors. Parties, baseball games, camping, walks. But those pesky bugs can oftentimes become a problem. Well, not if you have some of this stuff. We'll explain. Steve Shriver is the owner and CEO of Bug Soother, now manufactured in Cedar Rapids. Steve, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. I'm the biggest Bug Soother fan, but I feel like a lot of people would say that. You know, especially being here in the QCA when we kind of just saw it in emerge for the first time, what, around 2008 is when we started to see it kind of pop up here and there. So talk about what's been going on since you took over ownership of Bug Soother.
Yeah, so my friends Frida and Jim started the company out of a need to take care of the mosquitoes biting their grandkid.
Yes.
And it was like the greatest grassroots story.
It is.
And they were gracious enough to pass the torch on to me and Ecolips, my company.
Yeah.
And so it's great segue, by the way, after the Botanical Center, because
I thought so.
Right, lemongrass is an herb, and all of it we're a plant-based product, so it's awesome. But yeah, so we've got now a wide range of products.
You do, and we're going to go through all of them because I was on the website today hoping that Steve would bring all of these for us to check out in person. Before we get started, you talked about the lemongrass. What is it about Bug Soother, though, that actually gets it to work? Because I think that's everybody's concern. They're like, all natural. Well, you know, I'm just going to go for the hard chemical stuff because I really don't want to get a mosquito bite or a gnat bite or a tick bite or something.
So the lemongrass is a recognized active ingredient.
Ah.
Yeah, so it's not like we're just, you know, willy-nilly,
like,
hippy-dippy.
it's not for the scent.
Yeah, it's not. Although it does smell great. Yeah. But, and it's not, it's like aromatherapy, but it actually works. So lemongrass is an active ingredient that's recognized by the EPA. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it. So we have the original Bug Soother, which I believe is what you're holding up right now. And you guys have also come up with this one, the Bug Soother Max.
So just like you mentioned, so a lot of people they're just like, hey, wait, how can this work? It smells great.
Yeah.
You know, I know it works on the gnats and the mosquitoes a little bit, but when I'm going really in the backwoods, what am I going to use for a long period of time? So we developed Bug Soother Max.
Oh, okay.
And it's still plant-based, still made with essential oils, but it's got other essential oils like cedarwood and citronella in addition to the lemongrass.
Okay.
And it actually has been tested for 2 hours on ticks and 6 hours on mosquitoes. So ticks are spreading Lyme disease, and they're really bad this year.
Dangerous.
Right.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes are spreading dengue fever. And so, so this is like, I mean, this is one of the strongest plant-based formulas on the market today.
That is so impressive.
And it still smells good.
And it still smells good. I can attest to that. That's very, very cool. Okay, so this is an option for folks as well. Or if maybe you're like a mosquito magnet like me, you'll just go and bypass everything and get this one. Some other cool things that you guys are doing. So you have these wipes, these Bug Soother wipes.
Right. So the whole idea here is that this is somewhat difficult to travel with. It's liquid.
Yeah.
It can,
if you're on a plane,
too. Exactly. So the wipes are just easy to put in your backpack, your suitcase, your golf bag, your pocket.
Yeah.
And just an easy way to apply it. Some people, you know, don't want an aerosol sprayed around them if you're in a public setting.
Sure.
So the wipe is just an easy way to, you know, wipe on non-greasy.
Yeah, this is good for the kiddos too, because like, you know, I will attest with, even with a 5-year-old, like, she's just like, if you can wipe it instead of spray anything, it just works a lot better. So this is a really cool option for people. And speaking of the kids, I also love this one.
Right.
So explain for
Bug Soother Balm. This is not for your lips, by the way. This is this is just another great alternative that's just travel friendly. You can, you know, rub it on your pulse points, rub it wherever you want, on your hair, on your back of your neck, on your ankles. These are all a boosted formula of the original Bug Soother, so they still smell like it, but they've got a little more of the lemongrass and a little more active ingredients in it. So they work a little bit better than the original Bug Soother.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just another, so we look at it like you just need all the options, because you're going to get, I mean, there's, especially this year with all the flooding, there's...
Well, you're telling me about it, right?
The more water, the more bugs.
Well, that's where this was born from, truly. I mean, they already had Simply Soothing, you know, the company, and then in 2008, well, we all know what happened then. We got flooding, and then that's what it was. The bugs were like terrible.
Right.
So they created this.
Yeah.
And you've just, you know, made this bigger and better. And I did also see on your website that people can get like combination packs of stuff as well if you order it online or something. Yeah, and we've got other sizes as well. So like, for instance, there was a we have a gallon size. So that's what I need.
So we have a lot of people that use it on their horses. Some people, we had a few customers that had chickens that were suffocating because they had so many gnats on their face and fleas. And so like, you could spray your chickens, I mean, shoot, there was somebody that used it on their pet lion. So like, totally pet friendly, right? Right. So pet friendly, kid friendly.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
all that
awesome.
stuff. So all different sizes.
Okay.
And then
I love a candle.
Yes.
So I've been saving the best
So,
for last.
yeah.
Tell me about this. Does it have the citronella in it?
yes, so it's been tested. All these products have been tested against mosquitoes and gnats. And yes, and so not only does it smell good, we burn them inside, even though we don't need it, just because they smell good. It's not going to harm you. But put a couple of them out on your table, create a good vibe, and you're also keeping the fly or the you know, the gnats and the
gnats,
away.
the mosquitoes away, keep those ticks away. Very cool, all the different offerings that you have. And you mentioned your business Ecolips as well. So when people go onto this website, can they also find like the chapstick, lip balms, and you have skincare as well?
Yep, we've got some facial care, some sunscreen, all that stuff. And,
wow.
And if I could do a quick plug real quick.
Please do.
All right, this is how crazy popular the brand is.
Okay.
We did a we did an April Fool's joke as a
Bug Soother beer.
Bug Soother beer with Lion Bridge Brewery in Cedar Rapids. Total joke. The community was like, wait a second.
Let me hold it up.
Okay.
This is great.
Yeah, so the community was like, wait a second, that's actually a good idea. Lemongrass and vanilla in a beer, we need to try it. So we just launched this last week.
What? So it's
limited
a real?
edition. It's a real beer.
It's a real beer, folks.
Yes.
That
and
is
it actually
awesome.
tastes really good. So limited edition.
Lion Bridge.
It's gonna be sold out very soon. But it's an indication of how much people love this brand.
And it's very community, you know, it really is. So that's what makes it even cooler. Well, you can find a complete list of products and their descriptions by heading to bugsoother.com. And apparently, if you get there fast, you can go to Lion Bridge and grab yourself a Bug Soother beer.
Yes, that's right.
Steve, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, coming up on Quad Cities Live, celebrating the life of one of the big band legends. We'll learn more about how a local jazz musician is honoring the legacy of the late, great Louie Bellson. That's next.
Well, it is a centennial celebration of Louie Bellson, a renowned American jazz drummer, composer, and band leader.
Yes, the late icon would have turned 100 years old this Saturday, and jazz musician Josh Duffy will be marking the occasion in a very special way. Josh, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. Yeah,
It's great to be back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for being here today. Josh, first tell us about Louie Bellson. He was born in Rock Falls, Illinois.
Yeah, born in Rock
back in the
Falls.
1920s?
1924. Yeah, July 6, 1924, born at 3:30 in the afternoon, so in Whiteside County. And he considered Rock Falls to be where his birthplace is, but the Quad Cities was his home because he graduated from Moline High School in 1942.
Go Maroons.
That's right.
Yeah, did you graduate from
I did.
high school?
Much later than that, but yes, I did.
Very cool. Well, tell us about who he was, like his career. He had such a major impact, not only on jazz music, but just the world, and the music world in general.
Yeah, there's so much. I mean, it's like a Cliff's Notes version. At 17, he beat out over 40,000 drummers nationwide to win the Gene Krupa Drum Contest. At 17,
wow.
was playing with Benny Goodman's orchestra in 1942. When he was 18, the best band in the country. I think one of the most prized, special moments for him was when he married Pearl Bailey in November of 1952, and he was married with her until 1990, till she passed.
Yeah.
And so he loved music, but he loved young people, and he loved coming back to the Quad Cities. He told me that many, many times. It was a truly special place for him, and he considered it home.
That's great. Really amazing.
And as you mentioned, he's made a big impact on the jazz music world. So talk about the two bass drums that he kind of helped get into the jazz world.
Yeah, it's exciting. In the 1930s at the Bellson Music Store, 1711 Fifth Avenue in Moline, in the basement, he invented that. And he's like, what would it be if my other foot could do two
I had no idea.
What I find hilarious is that it's really big in like metal and like really dark drumming and like music. It's like, that was a jazz drumming thing in the 1930s and 40s that he was doing.
Yeah, very cool. We do have a photo of a time that you met Louie Bellson.
Yes.
So describe what was going on.
Oh yeah, there I am.
Photo.
So that was in I believe 1999 or year 2000 when he was inducted into the Wall of Honor at Moline High School. And I had met him a few years before that, and when we met, it was like an instant friendship.
Yeah.
And so he was always teaching me different things on the drums, but then also educating me about the music. Because he said, without you knowing this, he goes, the music will just die out. He goes, it's the young generation that will keep this going. And he even said, your drumsticks are like paintbrushes, and the drum head is like a canvas. He's like, paint me a picture.
Wow.
And so it's a really neat approach to
insightful, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
So obviously he's had a huge impact on many people's lives.
Yes.
You said that, you know, he graduated from Moline, but Rock Falls is really home base.
That's right.
That's where he was born. So you guys have had a music festival, the Louie Bellson Music Festival here the last few years.
That's right. Yeah.
Last weekend you had it. How'd it go?
It was amazing. We got a little bit of rain in the afternoon, so we had to move it indoors.
Sure.
But a huge turnout, and it's an all-free event that Rock Falls Tourism puts on up there, and Melinda, her crew, do an incredible job of that.
Yeah.
And this year our special guest was Steve Smith, the former drummer of Journey. And so people came out and they saw him, got to meet him, and when he saw all the Louie Bellson memorabilia, he's like, this is truly special. And so he has such a special place for Louie in his heart, and he goes, I'm honored to be here in Rock Falls.
Yeah, that's really great. You just spoke about meeting Louie a number of times and all the things that he had to teach you.
Yes.
Describe the way that he's either impacted you on a personal level or impacted yourself as a musician.
He was very kind and sincere. He was a very faithful man as well, and he had time for kids. Yeah. And he always had a smile on his face, and he always remembered my name. I'm like, you see thousands of people around the world.
Special.
How do you remember my name? And he said, there's something unique about you. He goes, you're into the music that I was into growing up, that 1920s and 30s music. And he said, when I was 17, I was listening to Benny Goodman at Moline High School, and then I turned 18, and I'm playing with the band of musicians. And so when Francine donated the drum set to me, or gifted it to me, that was his. I was just in shock because I saw it when I was 16 years old, and here I am with the same drums that I saw.
And how does it feel to be able to do that?
It's incredible. I go back to when I was 16, just watching him play, and he was in his 70s at the time, but he played like he was a teenager. Sure. And he was always smiling and happy. And so to be able to carry on his tradition and educate the community about him is really important. And that's why I'm so thankful that you had me on, so that the community could hopefully go to Riverside Cemetery and wish him happy birthday on Saturday. Yeah. And I'll be there at 3:30 in the afternoon with this drum at the minute he was born to do a snare drum solo right by his grave there.
That's great. Will you do one for us?
Sure, I'd be more than happy to.
All right, let's hear it.
Incredible.
You're amazing. You really are
So
amazing.
I will share this. I don't think you even know this. I actually played the drums when I was like 11, 12, 13 years old. But the reason why I don't do it anymore is because I can't do that. That's talent, like the hand movement. No. But I mean, that's some good talent. So people can catch you at, what is it, 3:20 this Saturday?
Yeah, I'm going to be there between like 3 and 3:30. It's not an official event.
Sure.
I'm just going to show up because that's the time that he was born, and I wanted to mark that occasion of being there at that exact minute. But people can be there all day long. I know the golf classic's going on, so if people are driving by the cemetery, he's at the southernmost part of the cemetery. So
I didn't even know that he was buried here in the Quad Cities.
And I played at the private family burial. I was asked to do that, played taps. And then I was asked back a year later to play a drum solo at the dedication of the headstone.
Wow.
Clearly he's had a big impact on your life.
Very big impact. And I'm very happy he's from the Quad Cities and we can call him our own here, as well as in Rock Falls as well.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, well, if you want to learn more about Louie Bellson, there's an entire website that is dedicated to his legacy. We have that on your screen right now. That's louiebellson.com. As always, Josh, it's fantastic to have you on.
And I love when you play.
Yes.
I gotta say, you're
come back again soon.
So talented. So thank you. Well, still to come in our next half hour of Quad Cities Live, a local nonprofit that serves Gold Star families with children through a variety of programs. We'll learn more about Seal Family Legacy. Plus, it's an exciting time for the I-80 truck stop in Walcott, Iowa, how they're celebrating 60 years of service to travelers.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Seal Family Legacy is a nonprofit organization based here in the Quad Cities that serves Gold Star families with children through a variety of programs. Here to tell us more about how to get involved is Brandon Meglin. Brandon, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I look forward to talking to you. I know, we've covered the upcoming events in the past, and they've been such a success. But let's start with the primary mission of this organization and where it came from and why it got started.
Yeah, so Seal Family Legacy is a 501c3 nonprofit, 100% volunteer-based organization based right here in the Quad Cities. We like to say we're Quad Cities based with a national reach. Yeah. So really the mission focus is to support and bring awareness to military Gold Star families with children under the age of 18, which we do through a number of our programs. We want to honor the fallen service members, but really then shift our focus to providing resources and support for the children left behind.
Okay. Describe some of those programs for us, the ways that they lend their support to these families, but more importantly, the children.
Yeah. So we have an annual goal every year to do 2 $20,000 endowments.
Wow.
So this year we are doing that. We're proud to say through our generous sponsors we have enough finances to do that this year. Very excited about that.
It's very exciting.
So that's one piece of it, and then we do other things to keep contact with the kids too.
Okay.
Our birthday card program, each year the kids receive a birthday card on their birthday, $100 each year, and then $200 when they reach age 18.
Wow.
That's a nice one to keep in contact too.
Yeah, it really is. Just a way to make them feel seen and special and supported. So the beneficiary families, you spoke about $20,000 endowments. How are these families chosen? That must be just very difficult. I don't know if it's a board or, you know, how do you guys decide when, unfortunately, there are so many families that are impacted in this way?
Yeah. It is a difficult process. It's a
Yeah.
board decision. Anybody can nominate a Gold Star family. We encourage
Okay.
people to do that if you know of any in the area or anywhere in the
Yeah.
country for that matter. But it is an application process, and then the board goes through them to make a decision each year. Each year we try to select one Navy SEAL family, and then the other family can be from any branch of service.
Any branch of service. Okay, so, and you guys have, do they already know that they're being gifted? I don't want to,
Yes.
I don't want to say
They
the
do.
names, announce
Yeah.
the names on TV.
Yeah.
So you have one who's a regionally local beneficiary family, Chief Warrant Officer John Gibson, who sadly passed. He was in a helicopter accident.
Yeah.
And then a Navy SEAL, which you spoke about, Chris Chambers, and he went missing at sea in January of this year.
Yep, that's a recent one.
Oh, wow. Terrible. So these families are going to be given these, you know, $20,000 endowments here pretty soon after some really important events that you have coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where we as a community can get involved in helping out this organization. So tell us about your gala coming up here pretty soon.
Absolutely. Rhythm City Casino and Resort, July 12th, 5 to about 10 p.m.
Okay.
Cocktail hour 5 to 6. Nice dinner at the Rhythm City following that. We have silent and live auction items all night throughout the evening. Those should be fabulous. We are very excited about our keynote speaker coming in, retired Navy SEAL Angel Molina.
Okay.
Kind of give you a behind-the-scenes peek of what it's like to be a Navy SEAL and some
Wow.
of the things that they go through. Should be a great speech. And then we will wrap up the night. The Gibson family will actually be there, and we'll do the $20,000 endowment presentation
Okay.
the last part of the night on stage with them.
Oh, wow, that's got to be an extremely emotional and special
is.
moment. Yes, okay. And who can go to this event? Do you have to be a veteran? Do you have to have a veteran in your family? Or, you know, can you just purchase tickets and it can be just a really special night out?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a great date night. You don't have to be a veteran. You don't have to be directly related to the military. This is really for anybody, and we encourage everybody to take a look at it. You won't be sorry if you attend this event. You're going to walk away with a new perspective and appreciation of what these families have been through.
Yeah.
So we encourage everybody to get on our website, our Facebook page, check out the tickets, and
Yeah.
we have plenty to sell still.
Yes, okay, and we'll give everybody that information too at the end of the segment. The following day, though, after the gala, is your annual ride and cruise. This sounds like a lot of fun. Describe how that day starts. You meet again at the Rhythm City Casino, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this will also be out of the Rhythm City the following morning,
Okay.
July 13th. We'll have a brief ceremony at 10:30 a.m. We'll depart promptly at 11 a.m. This year we're going to go south through the state of Iowa. It'll be a scenic route. Motorcycles, convertibles, really anything you want to bring out. You can
Okay.
participate. Family friendly, all ages are encouraged to come. Mitchell Arms and Ammo is a dealer in Burlington, Iowa. That's going to be our halfway and our lunch point. They're hosting us there.
fun.
Then we will shoot back up to the Quad Cities to Bettendorf and end at the Tangled Wood, where we'll have an after party. Should be a fun. There'll be a band there.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun night.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, why should people get involved in something like this? I mean, when they see these segments on this show, for example, there are so many worthy nonprofits out there, but this one really feels like you guys must get something special out of it.
Yeah. I think, you know, it comes down to, like I said, you don't have to be a veteran, you don't have to be military related. This is, if you appreciate what these people have been through so that we can enjoy our freedoms every day here in the Quad Cities and be able to do what we're focused on, you should look into supporting this because, again, you'll walk away with a new appreciation for what they've been through.
Yeah, absolutely would. Here's the website that you were talking about. You can find all the information for the gala and the ride and cruise on sealfamilylegacy.org. You also mentioned that your organization has a Facebook page and people can find pertinent information there.
Yep.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Well, still to come on QCL, the Iowa 80 truck stop is marking a major milestone. 60 years of service to professional drivers and travelers from all walks of life. Details on how you can get involved in the celebration next.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
It is a local landmark that is well known across the country and really around the world. And if you drive west along Interstate 80, it is pretty hard to miss.
Yeah, we're of course talking about the Iowa 80 truck stop, the world's largest truck stop in Walcott, celebrating 60 years of service.
Cool, yeah.
Delia Moon-Meyer is the Senior Vice President of the Iowa 80 truck stop, and she joins us now to talk about all of the celebration happening this summer and even heading into the fall. Delia, thanks for stopping by today.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, absolutely. So 60 years ago, your parents had this wild idea of creating this truck stop. So how did this all get started?
Well, my dad worked for Standard Oil, and so he built truck stops across the U.S. for Standard, and he built this one at Walcott, you know, just like 50 others. But he put an operator in. It became too busy for that operator, and they turned it back over to Standard Oil. And so my parents were living in Kansas City at the time, and they sold their house and everything they had and moved to Walcott and took it over. So that's how we got here.
That's incredible.
And they just kept reinvesting whatever they had into making it better.
I love seeing all of these old photos.
Look at that,
It is just because I think it's a place that we live and we know so well, and then to just see the past in that way is so cool, which brings us to expansions. I mean, you guys have been growing since the start. We have 23 expansions and remodels.
Oh, at least. We're always doing something.
Oh my goodness.
Always bigger and better than the last.
Yep, our goal is to make everything seem brand new all the time. So, I mean, we even wear outdoors. You know, everything wears out.
It sure does. If you have a home, you know that.
Right.
So we'll talk about the different things that folks can find at the Iowa 80 truck stop. It is just, it's a huge place. There's a lot to offer. It's one of my daughter's favorite places to go.
It's a one-stop shop.
Charles gets a toy. There's a lot there.
That's how most people know us. It's got a really unique gift shop. It's huge and whatever you want. Especially most gift shops don't have a lot of things for men, but we do at the truck stop. So if you're trying to buy a gift for a man, the truck stop's a great place to go. We can help you, but we also have lots of other things. But the Iowa 80 Kitchen, we're open 24 hours. We'll make you anything you want. And their food is terrific. And of course, we've got the food court with Wendy's and Taco Bell and Dairy Queen. We all love that.
Yes. Made stops there many, many times on I-80 on those trips. So obviously the big 60th anniversary has been being celebrated really all year long. So you've got a few special things. So first let's talk about this contest where someone out there can win $60,000. How does one get involved? It's not too hard, right?
It's not hard at all. And so when you buy something at Iowa 80, it's on your receipt. You can scan your receipt and be entered. And you can enter as many times as you like. You could also go to our website and enter. And if you've got a CDL, you can win $50,000 cash if you're selected. And if you don't have a CDL, you can win $10,000.
Okay, good to know.
Very, very cool. Well, we just saw a little bit of video of the Walcott Truckers Jamboree.
Always a hit. Always
have you been there, haven't you?
Several times, yes. I covered it actually, I think, a couple years ago here on Quad Cities Live. And this is the place to be for anyone who has ever driven one of these trucks before, or if you've got an interest, because you've got all of them there. I mean, right?
Right. That's our goal.
They do different competitions and things like that as well, which like really makes it fun and funny for people to join. I also heard they have the best pork chop that you could possibly get ever. Tell us about the truck that you brought us, because it is actually a replica of one that we would have seen if we were there last year.
You bet. So we do a Super Truck Beauty Contest. So it's not people's beauty, because we're all beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
but
of
it's
course.
about your truck and how beautiful it is, and the pride that you show in that. And one of our customers was there last year, and his is called Notorious Pig, and he's a pig hauler. And he won because it was so immaculate, and he had so many lights on it, like inside the trailer.
That's
and it was
awesome.
It was just out there. He won the Trucker's Choice, and when you win the Trucker's Choice, it means you get to be our model truck for next year, and you get to be on the T-shirt, and it's a huge honor. So he really worked hard. He deserved it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So you'll be celebrating with cake. I understand you've got a big cake that is going to be a replica of the big showroom there from Ace of Cakes. Of course, that's Duff Goldman, if anyone watched that show, so that'll be exciting.
I think so.
And you're coming out with a book as well.
Yes, we'll have a 60th anniversary book that will be available at the Jamboree and after that.
That's exciting.
And it tells our story and our history, and includes, historical pictures, and talks about the future and our customers. And it was fun to write, fun to read. It was nice to preserve our history.
And fun to reminisce as well. I'm sure you had a lot of fun putting it together.
We did.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at all that your family has been able to do, and the impact that they've had here in the Quad Cities, it has to be really special to you.
It is a really neat experience for me, and to honor my parents and my family, and then to honor all of our employees, and to honor all of our customers. And it's just a show of respect, and I've devoted my life to it.
Just really special. We love that. And you can find more information on Iowa80truckstop.com or follow along on their Facebook page, of course, especially if you want to go to the Jamboree. Delia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Congrats.
And thank you so much for watching.
Your local news at 4 is coming up next. The latest on that First Alert Day coming up.